Hello everyone, this is Pooka and welcome to another Pokemon TCG video. Phantom Forces is out. We already looked at the Night March deck. Now let's look at another deck that comes out solely because of the new set. Bronzong Dialga. So Dialga was one of my favorite Pokemon for a long time. Used him back in those SP Pokemon days. Dialga Garchomp won me a lot of tournaments back in the day. And now we have a good Dialga finally, once again. So let's take a look at these two cards. Bronzong is going to look pretty familiar if you were around when Electric was a thing. Of course, Electric had Dynamotor, got Lightning Energy out of the discard pile, was one of the strongest decks for years. Bronzong has Metal Links, does the same thing for Metal Energy. So once during your turn, take a Metal Energy from your discard pile, attach it to one of your benched Pokemon, boom, instant energy acceleration. Hey, that's pretty good. Of course, we gotta have something to attack with. Can't just put energy on Bronzong and expect to attack, right? You're not gonna hammer in very often. Much like you weren't going to use Electric Ball with Electric too often. But we do have a 4-4 line of Bronzong to make sure we can get many of them into play. And our main attacker is going to be Dialga EX. First, I just want to comment on the Full Metal Dialga EX. I think the one in real life, the real cards, it looks awesome. You know, the Full Metal is beautiful. On Pokemon TCG Online, it looks like it's white. And it's kind of strange. I think it's a step above the Zekrom and Reshiram, where you can't even see what the Pokemon is, but I don't know, there's something off about this. Anyway, Dialga EX has two decent attacks. The first one is Chrono Wind 60, and then if they're a Pokemon EX, they can't attack during their next turn. So it's a decent attack. It sets up things to be knocked out. Most decks do play Switch, though, so it's very easy to switch and retreat out of that effect. So I wouldn't rely on that too often. What we're going to be trying to use is Full Metal Impact. 150 damage, and you have to discard 2 Metal Energy attached to Dialga EX. Now 150 isn't exactly enough to knock out most things, but with a Muscle Band, we can knock out most things. Plus 20 makes it 170 damage. That knocks out most of the popular Pokemon EX, like Yveltal EX, Genesect EX, and so on. So that's going to be the idea here. Get Dialga EX going, Full Metal Impact, do a lot of damage, get one-hit knockouts. Now, of course, there are Pokemon EX that have 180 hit points, so we are going to be running Hypnotoxic Laser as well. I only have one in here. You might want to run a couple more just to make sure you get those one-hit knockouts. But it is important to note that you should probably be playing this if your deck is focusing on Dialga EX. So, basic strategy, get a bunch of Bronzong out, use Dialga, do a lot of damage. That's the basic concept. Now, there are plenty of other metal Pokemon we can take advantage of. First one is going to be the brand new Aegislash EX. Now, you can take a different route and focus the deck on Aegislash instead of Dialga EX, but I think the Dialga version is more straightforward, so I want to cover that one. Aegislash EX has an incredible ability, Mighty Shield. Prevent all damage done to this Pokemon by attacks from each of your opponent's Pokemon that has special energy attached to it. Now that is really cool because pretty much every deck in the format plays special energy. So think about a Team Plasma deck, for example. Boy, they only run like 2 basic energy in their whole deck, and you could just win the game with one Aegislash sometimes. So that ability is really powerful. Slash Blast is a mediocre attack, 40 plus 20 for each Metal Energy on the Aegislash EX. It's very similar to Keldeo EX's Secret Sword or Delphox's Blaze Ball. The difference being those Pokemon had support in the form of Blastoise and Emboar. Those allowed you to just attach as many energy as you wanted, so you could put 6-7 energy on a Keldeo EX and Secret Sword for one-hit knockouts. This is more of a gradual build-up. Right, we can only use Metal Links with Bronzong like 2, 3, 4 times at the most. In order to get a one-hit knockout with Slash Blast, Well, think about what you need to knock out a Pokemon EX. If you have 6 energy and a muscle band, that's doing 180. So 6 energy, that's a lot to get with this deck. So I'm not going to focus on Aegislash EX. I'm going to focus on Dialga EX, but it is worth playing one of these guys. Definitely has a lot of potential. We also have Cobalion EX. Righteous Edge is pretty cool. Steel Bullet can get through Safeguard Pokemon. Can also knock out Pyroar with a Muscle Band, but let's be real. This deck will not beat Pyroar. I would say don't even try. Some decks just lose to Pyroar. This is one of them. Hope you don't play against Pyroar. Even if you ran 4 Cobalion EX, I don't think you would beat Pyroar, so don't even bother. One is worth playing, though. And then we have one of this good old regular Cobalion. Was reprinted in Legendary Treasures. Got the beautiful full art version still. Just a nice non-EX attacker, Energy Press and Iron Breaker. 2 decent attacks that can really come in handy sometimes. Now, with our heavy retreat costs and the fact that Bronzong can only Metal Link to a benched Pokemon, we have Keldeo EX in this deck. With a Float Stone, we can rush in, Metal Links onto one of our Pokemon, and then retreat for free. Pretty simple combo. We saw this used a lot in Rayquaza electric decks. You might want a second Keldeo since it actually is really important for this deck, but we'll stick with one for now. This deck is really tough to build. I found that there's not a whole lot of space to work with. Our supporters, we're going to have 4 Pokemon Fan Club. We do need to get multiple Bronzor into play as quickly as possible, so we're going to play 4 Pokemon Fan Club, 4 N, and then 4 Professor Juniper, along with 2 Chorus, and then 2 VS Seeker. I love this card. I'm probably going to play it in everything. Just one of my favorite cards. And then we also have 1 Lysander. You can get away with 1 when you have the 2 VS Seeker. And also Dowsing Machine. Now, we have Steel Shelter in this deck as well. 2 of these. Now, I would love to run like 4 of these and just say, Hypnotoxic Laser. Not happening, but it's really tough to fit 4 of them. I only have 2 in here, and that's mainly just to show them off. I don't know if it's worth only running 2. If you don't run like 3 or 4, it's probably not going to stay out there, but it's worth noting this is extremely good against Seismitoad EX since they rely on Hypnotoxic Laser so often. You can just throw out a Steel Shelter, and you can't be affected by special conditions, so goodbye Poison. Steel Shelter is an incredible stadium. It's just, how do you fit all these cards into this deck? We have 3 Float Stone, again for the Keldeo EX, and for our heavy retreat costs, 4 Muscle Band. Now this might be overkill, you might be thinking that, but this deck doesn't function without the Muscle Band. If you're not doing 170 damage with Full Metal Impact, you're probably not getting a one-hit knockout on a Pokemon EX, and that's bad. We want to be getting that as often as we possibly can, so we're going to be running 4 Muscle Band here. For Ultra Ball, I would normally play less than this, but it's useful to get Metal Energy in the discard pile for Bronzong's Metal Linked. Now, an alternative, you could cut a few Ultra Ball for a few Battle Compressor. That way you can just search out the Metal Energy and put them right into the discard pile. I think that's more suited for a version that's going to focus on Aegislash EX when you just run all Metal Energy. Then you would run Battle Compressor. In this version, I don't think you would. It just doesn't seem quite as good. Alright, we do have a Startling Megaphone. You could add a second one if you're really afraid of Garbodor. We have a 4/4 Bronzong line. Not sure that's entirely necessary. It's helpful just to get them out. Have a bunch of them out. Maybe a 3/3 line would suffice. I don't know. I have not had an opportunity to test with these cards. This is just what I feel like will be a pretty solid list to start out with. So let's go ahead and see it in action. Our Bronzong Dialga Aegislash Cobalion deck. Alright, let's see what we can do. So start off with the double Bronzor. Not the ideal starter. I would prefer any starter. Literally any other Pokemon than Bronzor. But we're going to start off with the double Bronzor, and that is an ugly hand if I've seen one. I do have a Professor Juniper, so I'm not going to complain too much, but it's just a matter of Hey, do we play the Juniper or hold on, wait to evolve the Bronzong? Do we play a double colorless? I'm going to say no to all of those and just Juniper the whole hand away painfully. I do have a metal energy. Now it's where do I attach it? I'm going to put it on the active. You know, if it gets knocked out, I'll at least get a metal in the discard. If it doesn't get knocked out, I can retreat next turn. Seems like a decent idea. This is a pretty surefire way to get a metal energy in the discard pile. So we see we're facing an Yveltal deck. Yveltal decks probably will not go away. There's just dark decks do not go away. They are very strong. You will see them forever. Just get used to it. There we see, oh, the Oblivion Wing. There goes my Bronzor. Turn 1, 50 damage. That hurts pretty badly. I'm going to throw down the Steel Shelter. And I guess I can attach to Bronzor. And we're just going to go with an N. And okay, we did get another basic. That's the bright side here. I got a Keldeo EX I can put down. I got an awkward hand here. See, I want to Ultra Ball for another Pokemon so I can use Metal Links to start powering something up. But then I'll have to discard Floatstone. But I guess that's worth it. I do have more Floatstone in the deck somewhere. I hate putting Keldeo EX out there because if it gets stuck by a Hypnotoxic Laser, I could lose the game. I could get knocked out, and it's such a integral part of this strategy. So we're going to risk it, though. Don't have a great situation. Going to Metal Links onto Dialga EX. It's our main attacker. Going to beef him up and then pass the turn. So we do see an Oblivion Wing from my opponent. Not the greatest start from my opponent, but boy, that's a lot of energy building up into play. So pretty scary. Gonna VS Seeker for the Professor Juniper. Get the Muscle Band onto Dialga EX. And let's see what we can do. I really don't want to leave Keldeo EX out there for another turn. It doesn't seem like a good idea. Again, it is a huge part of our strategy being able to rush in and retreat. Didn't find a Floatstone, though. If I found a Floatstone, things would be much easier. Now I got some decisions to be making. So I could leave Keldeo out there, but again, I don't really want to do that. I'll probably end up attaching the double colorless and retreating into something. Now the question is, do I want to Metal Links onto Dialga EX, power it up for the full Metal Impact, or we can do a weird thing here. I can play this Laser, and then Muscle Band, and then hit for 50, and then if the Yveltal stays there, it actually adds up where 2 Righteous Edge hits will knock it out. That will add up to 130, according to my mathematics. 50 plus 10 plus 10 plus 50 plus 10 does equal 130, at least the way I learned it. And yeah, I guess we'll just have to rely on that. Now, Yveltal EX are building on the bench. They have a lot of energy. They are very scary. So this is going to be a very difficult game to win. Now, the Yveltal does stay asleep and got another Juniper going. Things are looking up. We can go ahead and Ultra Ball away to Metal Energy here. I don't know if I actually needed to do that. I might have had some metal in the discard already, but oh well. I'm just going to grab, I can grab either another Bronzor or another Dialga EX. And I might just need the Dialga EX just to get some attackers powered up. Because I need to go to war pretty soon against those Yveltal EX. They are building too much energy, and I need to be able to knock them out in one hit. Seems pretty reasonable to me. Alright, looks like I only did have... Yeah, I didn't have any metal in the discard, so this worked out. We're going to spread the energy out a little bit. Put one on that Dialga, one on the other, in case of a Lysander knocking out the one with too much energy. I want to be able to respond with a knockout. And there we go. Righteous Edge. And I was actually really fortunate that Yveltal stayed asleep on that Hypnotoxic Laser. I just realized that. If I would have gotten hit for 50, that could have been a big deal. That would have probably gotten me knocked out right here. That could have been very, very bad. But now I just get hit for 50 on the following turn. but my opponent still is building up a gigantic amount of energy, so I don't know what's going to happen. Still don't find a float stone. I would really love to rush in and retreat here in full metal impact, but doesn't look like that's going to happen anytime soon. So let's just go with the Righteous Edge, 50 damage once again. Cabalion EX, not the strongest attacker in the world, but he's getting the job done for now. Yveltal EX, got so much energy on it. And Evil Ball is incoming for sure. And N incoming, apparently, as well. So, there we see the retreat. Darkrai's Dark Cloak, giving that regular Yveltal free retreat. And there is the Evil Ball, 140 damage. And alright, here we go. Now, we got some work to do. We got to start knocking out these Yveltal EX. We got to start doing it now. We can drop down the Megaphone and go for the Chorus for 9. Gonna need the double Chorus to get a knockout here, and we did get it. So that's a good thing. Can go ahead and attach it to the active Pokemon. And then Ultra Ball. Discard Ultra Ball, and another Metal Energy seems fine to me. And I can grab Aegislash or Bronzor. Getting a third Bronzong into play seems pretty good. So I'll go ahead and grab the Bronzor, and we'll go with the double Metal Links just to get more energy into play. Might as well take advantage. And full Metal Impact, 170 damage, goodbye. Yveltal EX. Alright, so now we're tied in prizes. Things could be worse. You know, as long as we can keep getting muscle bands and keep doing full Metal Impact, we should be able to win the game. The problem for me is going to be that Darkrai. What do we do about that thing? Hypnotoxic Laser is gone. Dowsing Machine is gone. So this goes back to my maybe we should play more than one Hypnotoxic Laser statement. Yeah. Probably need like 2 or 3 in this deck, along with the muscle bands, just to make sure we can hit those 180 HP Pokemon. Really annoying, but oh well. It is what it is. They didn't make them do 160, they made them do 150 damage. Ooh, we see a big N. That took away all of my good cards. That was really uncool. I liked having my good cards, but I do not have them anymore. Let's play the Pokemon Fan Club. We see there are many good cards left. The biggest one is going to be Lysander. If I can pull that off, I should be able to win the game. But, where I stand now, I have 3 Pokemon in my hand. I'm going to go ahead and retreat to the fresh Dialga EX, and then double Metal Links onto the one with the Muscle Band, and full Metal Impact. You can see this deck's kind of cool once it gets going. Right, we're just full Metal Impacting, boom, 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 getting knockouts. But the problem is 150 isn't always a knockout. And you'll start to see that here, I think. We're going to start to struggle a little bit to get knockouts, especially on that Darkrai. And now that decision to get the Bronzor may come back to bite me. We see an Enhanced Hammer. That will do absolutely nothing. But yeah, the Bronzor, if I can't find a Bronzong, Night Spear could be a really, really big deal. We could see a Night Spear 30 to Bronzor, and then another Night Spear, and then a knockout, and it's just not going to be good. I'm going to go with the Russian, getting out of the poison, and then that'll allow me to get some energy back into play. And I really don't want to use the Dialga EX that does the Muscle Band, because I don't have another one in my hand. So I'm going to have to use the damaged Dialga EX, and this is getting a little too close for comfort. We were looking like we're in a good spot, but now at this point it doesn't look too promising. Probably because my hand has nothing really playable in it, but that's alright. We will find the best way to go about this. Let's go full Metal Impact, 150 damage. Getting the knockout on the regular Yveltal. Now it's just one more prize. But again, that Darkrai is looking pretty fierce. If my opponent has a Hypnotoxic Laser here, Night Spear will knock me out. Then Bronzor will take 30, and I'll have to top deck Lysander to win the game. And I don't like that situation. Fortunately, there's no Hypnotoxic Laser, just a Night Spear. But we're still in that situation where I could get the 3-prize knockout, and that's not pretty. So, I draw an N for the turn. Not the greatest card, but at least I could put my opponent down to 3 cards, I guess. That might not be the worst thing. It'll let me prevent a Lysander, perhaps. A Lysander will probably win the game for my opponent, lose me the game. So now we enter complicated situation territory. I will end myself to 1 just to limit my opponent's options, and then rush in and Metal Links, and then retreat. Okay, so I have to decide which Dialga EX to use here. If I didn't draw that Muscle Band off the end of 1, I'd probably use the Dialga EX that's heavily damaged, but I did draw the Muscle Band. So now what I can do is kind of bait out that Yveltal EX. I'm just going to put up this Dialga EX that has the Muscle Band on it, and I clearly need to use Chrono Wind here. So this will block the Night Spear from happening unless my opponent has Dark Energy to rush in and retreat, but Chrono Wind seems like the way to go. It will stop Night Spear from happening, so if my opponent does happen to have a Lysander, it'll also need a Darkness Energy to rush in and retreat. Well, which she does have. There's the energy switch. But apparently the energy's going on to the Seismitoad. And there's a Juniper, so no Lysander, at least we have that. But yeah, if my opponent were to attack with Yveltal EX here, we can just go, boom, Muscle Band, 170, game over. Tricked you, but he's not falling for the trick. He is not. And that's going to be problematic. We're just struggling to take this last knockout here. If I could draw that Lysander, that would be great. If I could draw Bronzong, that would be great to stop the Night Spear from happening. I would really like that. But looks like none of those things are happening. Now, I have the Muscle Band. I'm very paranoid of playing it. If there's a startling megaphone, I lose. So I'll just kind of keep it. I could have attached a double colorless. That would have been probably the smart thing to do. Just play the double colorless. Why wouldn't you just play it? Get rid of it in case he plays an N or something. Wasn't thinking there. But, boy, this game is really close. I have no idea what's going to happen. There are so many things that could go wrong. The number one thing is just a Lysander, Night Spear, and I lose. But there's an end to 1. This is another bad thing that could happen. Evil Ball. Oh, no. All right. Well, this might be it right here. I need to draw a Muscle Band, or I might lose the game. Chorus, what a beautiful card to draw. 9 cards, and there is the Muscle Band. Wow, what a draw off of that N to 1. Got the Muscle Band, and it's time for some full metal impact. Dropping the anvil right on Yveltal EX's big dumb head. And there we go. Bronzong, Dialga gets the victory. A very hard-fought victory. I do feel like there's probably something missing from this deck that I haven't quite thought of. So this will take a lot of testing to see if it'll work. It's not entirely difficult to set up. It's just, once I set up, doesn't seem like I'm doing enough. So we'll see. Going to take a lot of testing to get this deck right. But hope you guys enjoyed the video. I will certainly have some more for you soon. I am Pooka from the Top Cut, and I'll see you guys next time.